এখানে করে দেবো চেঞ্জ।
ইন আউট দুটো আলাদা কথা আছে।
দেখো তো শোনা যাচ্ছে কিনা, ইউটিউবে শুনতে পাচ্ছ কিনা দেখো। দেখো শোনা যাচ্ছে কিনা, ইউটিউবে শুনতে পাচ্ছ কিনা দেখো।
Yes.
স্পিকার আউটটা অফ করে রাখো।
আমি আগে এখন দিও না, এখন একজন এখানে থাকবে কিন্তু কালি দিয়ে আগের বার কালি দিয়ে চলে গেছে, মাঝে মাঝে ইকো হচ্ছে। এটা খুব বাজে না? ইয়ে করলাম 3 তারিখ করলাম।
ইনসার্ট করলে তার এখানে ইউটিউবে চলে আসবে, দেখতে দেখে নিচ্ছি।
দেখো
তোমাদের আগে হরিদের পিকচারটা আছে, একটু পরে আসবো, এখানে একটু স্লো চেঞ্জ হচ্ছে, একটু তোমার ডিলে লাগি। ওই তোমার 10%।
আরে স্পিকার আউট তো দিয়েছো।
স্পিকার আউট ওটা দেওয়া আছে, এখন সেটাকে অফ করা আছে, নাহলে ইকো হবে। ঠিক আছে, আমি এখন মাইক্রোফোন ক্যামেরা অফ করে দিলাম। তাহলে ইউটিউব থেকে শেয়ারিং সরে যাবে, তারপর আমাকে শেয়ার করতে হবে। তুমি শেয়ারিংটা স্টপ করো।
সাউন্ড কোথা থেকে আসছে? নর্মাল থেকে। সাউন্ড কোথা থেকে আসছে? নর্মাল থেকে আসছে।
বাইরে যারা যারা শুনতে পাবো কিনা সেটা দেখা। ঠিক আছে, তোমার শেয়ারিং স্টপ হয়ে গেছে, ক্যামেরা নিয়ে নিয়েছি। এখন দেখো তোমার কথা শো করছে।
হ্যাঁ, এখানে শো করছি। হ্যাঁ।
No, do I have to speak?
all of you this lovely spring evening. Honorable Director ISI, Professor Shamamitra Bandyopadhyay, Professor Nimit Kaur, who has come all the way from Punjab University, Chandigarh, Annesha Chatra, lawyer turned journalist, at the statesman at the moment, who literally proves the pen is mightier than the sword with her writings. Srimati Damayanti Sen, who's not here yet, ADG West Bengal Police, other esteemed guests, colleagues, students, friends, people who are joining us virtually, and of course physically who are present here. A very warm welcome, all of you. It is indeed my great honor and pleasure to address you this evening on the occasion of International Women's Day 2025. The theme for this year's IWD is Accelerate Action, Advancing and Celebrating Women's Equality. Let me begin with the poem. Everyone in me is a bird. I'm beating all my wings. They wanted to cut you out, but they will not. They said you were immeasurably empty, but you are not. They said you were sick unto dying, but they were wrong. You're singing like a school girl. You're not torn, sweet wit. In celebration of the woman I am, and the soul of the woman I am, and of the central creature and its delight, I sing for you. I dare to live. So the story of women, therefore, is intricately related to the story of these other they who want to cut us out and who want to make us think that we are immeasurably empty. The story of women, therefore, is how they make us think how inherently unequal we are. What do we even mean by gender inequality? Amartya Sen, in his paper, The Many Faces of Gender Inequality, speaks of at least 7 kinds of inequality. Some we commonly know, mortality inequality. There is so much bias in healthcare and nutrition that mortality rates are much higher for women than men. In Europe and North America, there are about 105 women per 100 males, whereas it's about 95, 93 in this part of the world, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan. Natality inequality, which is related to this, parents wanting a baby boy rather than a baby girl, then introduce the concept of missing women, which basically is a quantitative measure of the actual number of women in these countries and the number of women we would have expected to see if the gender pattern of mortality were similar to the patterns in the other regions of the world that do not demonstrate significant bias against women in healthcare and other attentions rather than for survival. So in India, there are about 37 million missing women. So girls again have far lesser opportunity for schooling than boys. So basic facility inequality, far lesser encouragement to cultivate one's natural talents, to participate in social functions, etc. Special opportunity inequality. So there are certain provinces which are typically identified to be men's domains. War, politics, exercises of strength and dexterity, philosophy, science, of course, STEM disciplines, professional inequality in employment, promotion, in work, occupation. There are far greater handicaps that women face than men do. Japan, for example, is quite egalitarian in matters of demography or basic facilities, and even to a great extent in higher education. Yet, progress to elevated levels of employment and occupation seems to be much more problematic for women than men. So, in the English television series Yes Minister, there was an episode in which the minister, full of reforming zeal, is trying to ascertain from the Permanent Secretary Sir Humphrey how many women are in senior positions in the British civil service. Sir Humphrey says that it's very difficult to give an exact number, it would require a lot of investigation. The minister is insistent and wants to know approximately how many women are there in senior positions, to which Sir Humphrey finally replies, approximately none. So there's ownership inequality. In India, for example, traditional ownership rights are weighed in favor of male children. Household inequality, so family arrangements can be very unequal in terms of sharing burden of housework and childcare. Sometimes, therefore, the division of labor, though, is really accumulation of labor on the women's shoulders. So Sen writes, in the 1970s, when I first started working on gender inequality, I remember being struck by the fact that the Handbook of Human Nutrition Requirements of the World Health Organization, in presenting calorie requirements for different categories of people, chose to classify household work as sedentary activity, requiring very little deployment of energy. I was not able to determine precisely how this remarkable bit of information had been collected. So that was Amartya Sen. So basically, inequality is really a very multidimensional concept, and we'll hear other speakers in the evening speak more about this. I won't take up more time. I'll just finish now with an excerpt from a field work. This was academia, but what do we see in reality? Savitri had lost her husband and her two children when a mysterious disease, possibly cerebral malaria, visited her village. A Salishi Sabha village council had sat in judgment and decided that Savitri had a hand in the plague. They declared her a witch and asked her to pay a hefty fine of 2 lakh rupees and arrange for a feast for the entire village. Her husband owned 2 acres of land that were now legally hers. Savitri had also committed another crime. When the census people came to her village, they had enlisted her as literate. So here was a woman who could read and write, who owned a plot of land, and who, according to the Salishi Sabha, had killed her husband and children. As a witch, Savitri had 3 options: to pay up, be killed, or flee. She chose the third option. Now, this is the kind of inequality. So imagine what a man has to face when his wife dies. He's probably encouraged to marry again. There is a kind of inequality which in reality women are subject to. And with that, I would now like to request Honorable Director ISI Professor Shambhavitra Bandyopadhyay to address the audience today, and we will take our program forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Shomanitra, for the nice or thoughtful introduction to the Women's Day program. And thank you all for coming and joining on this important occasion. As every year, we are celebrating in ISI the Women's Day, International Women's Day. And as I say every year, I again wish that we don't have to celebrate Women's Day, because I wish that day would come sooner than later, when women are so empowered, are so equal, that there is no need to celebrate separately a Women's Day. But we know, as Shomanitra also mentioned, some anecdotes, that those days are still way many years, maybe decades on. We are not there yet. We have miles to go before we sleep. But I'm always hopeful, and probably that's how I've survived here. I hope that things will change, and I hope, because I can see things changing, maybe little by little, not noticeable to the extent that is required. But then this institute has accepted a woman director for 10 long years. So that says something about the Indian Statistical Institute, about its attitude. It has never treated, at least I hope so, and I have never been treated differently than any male colleague. So this may be an exception, or this may be a rule, I do not know. But in my own career, I have not faced discrimination for being a woman. And that is all through the different institutions that I have traveled. But we hear of scary stories, scary incidents, which are also a reality, which are also a fact that we have to address. And therefore, the importance of action And as the campaign theme of this year's Women's Day celebration is accelerate action. Do it now, not tomorrow, but today, now. We have to we have to take action now. And also, if I'm not wrong, the general theme for the Women's Day celebration is for all women and girls, rights, equality, and empowerment. So, and for that, the action is needed now. So, I hope here in this institute, through our academics, through our research, we are able to empower the girls and the women here so that they can climb up that ladder, can reach leadership positions, and can lead institutions in their own fields. And that will also require a lot of commitment, a lot of hard work from the women, because as is obvious, life is not fair. Life is certainly not fair to the women, even now, even to the women of the women in this auditorium. Even us, we have to work more than our male colleagues to reach the same level of success. But then I've always believed that complaining gets us nowhere. Therefore, rather than complaining, let us be in the system and navigate the system, maneuver the system, and try to improve the system so that the other women scientists, because I'm talking of scientists because we are in this science organization, so other women scientists, their life becomes simpler for them. Not very far back, about 100 years back, a woman biochemist was not allowed admission in Indian Institute of Science for being a woman, Kamala Sanu. From then on, now there are many women who are vice chancellors, who are directors of institutions. So we've come a long way. But as I said, we have miles to go before we sleep, and therefore this initiative has to continue, and we have to continue celebrating the women leaders, celebrating the achievements of women, because that gives confidence and that gives energy to the other younger women and younger scientists, younger people, I should say, not just women, to all, but then also to the women. If they see someone has achieved it, they can get more confidence that if she can, I can too. So with that hope, thank you again for coming to this wonderful event, and I must particularly thank all the organizers or all the committee members who made this event possible today. Thanks to Shoma Mehta, Sharvani Palit, and Devaruti, and everybody else. If I'm missing, I am missing a few, but then all of you, thank you very much for making this day possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shambhavi, and had it not it been Shambhavi's encouragement and enthusiasm, this program would never have happened. So, me, Shambhavi, and the committee are just instrumental in making your wish come true. And the Women's Day actually started being celebrated after Shambhavi became the director. And we really accept you. We were very happy to have you. So please don't be so humble and modest. The institute really needed a director like you to lead it in all directions. Thank you very much. And with the note of hope that Shomamitra sounded for us, let us move ahead for the other programs that we have. In celebration of the woman I am, let me carry a 10-foot scarf. Let me drum for the 19-year-olds. Let me carry bowls for the offering, if that is my part. Let me study the cardiovascular tissue. Let me examine the angular distance of meteors. Let me suck on the stems of flowers, if that is my part. Let me make certain tribal figures, if that is my part. Women have so much to contribute in such diverse areas, and our keynote speaker just epitomizes this diversity. The keynote address today evening is by Professor Gurmeet Kaur, who is a professor in the Department of Geology at Punjab University, Chandigarh. She currently serves as the chair of the Heritage Stone Subcommission of the International Union of Geological Sciences, IUGS, Additionally, Dr. Kaur is a co-leader of the UNESCO IGCP project Heritage Stones Recognition, a step forward, her stones. She has been the lead guest editor for 2 special volumes of the journals Geoheritage and Episodes, with one more currently in the pipeline. With over 50 publications in both international and national journals, she has authored the book Natural Stone and World Heritage, published by the Taylor and Francis Group. Additionally, at the 37th International Geological Congress held in August 2024 in Busan, South Korea, her co-edited book titled The First 55 IUGS Heritage Stones was unveiled to a distinguished gathering. Furthermore, she has written 3 editorials, 2 in episodes, and 1 in the Journal of Geological Society of India, and currently serves as an associate editor for episodes. Dr. Kaur also served as the editor of the monthly IUGS e-bulletin. She has delivered keynote lectures at prestigious events, including the 7th Global Stone Congress in Portugal, the 2nd International Stone Workshop in Turin, Italy, and a geoheritage event in Zumaya, Spain. In November 2023, she delivered a public lecture at the 89th annual meeting of the Indian Academy of Sciences. She was a visiting scholar at Lakehead University in Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada from 2013 to 2015, where she conducted research on lamproites. Please pardon my pronunciation if that's wrong. And as a faculty member of the Laurentian University, Sudbury in 2014. Dr. Kaur has also organized numerous sessions on heritage stones at the European Geosciences Union. May I now please request my colleague from the Geological Studies Unit, Devaruti Mukherjee, to please come on stage, and requesting Dr. Kaur also to please come on stage. Devaruti will now felicitate Dr. Kaur with our big token of appreciation. May I also take this opportunity to say a couple of words on the Dokra deer that we thought of presenting our esteemed guests today, even other guests later on in the evening. Dokra is an ancient art practiced by tribal community, and it's predominantly led by women. From crafting clay molds to pouring molten metal, women have passed on this magical tradition through generations. So this Women's Day, we thought of dispensing away from conventional gifts and giving something to honor the women who inspire us with their crafts every day. So that's how the deer looks, which is, yeah. Thank you. And with that, I please request. So the title of Dr. Kaur's talk is Stones, Timeless Beauty and More. Over to you, Professor Lu.
Professor Songumitra Bandyopadhyay, Director INSI, Professor Sharbani Palit. I'm trying to be as authentic. Chair, IWD, ISI, Professor Soumya Munshi, convener of IWD, committee members of IWD, faculties, dear students, ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to all of you. I feel very honored and privileged to be with all of you this evening. I, I was not sure when Madam wrote to me that I have to make a presentation here on my work. Uh, I was fumbling, I was nervous, but then I thought, no, I have to convince people that what I'm working holds a lot of worth and is not a peripheral science. It is directly related to society and it has to be communicated well. So, how I came in contact with ma'am was in 2023 during the 89th annual meeting of Indian Academy of Sciences, and we just interacted over breakfast. That is how we exchanged our phone numbers, and then we exchanged some pleasantries during New Year and some special occasions. So I think in January I shared the e-calendar on Heritage Stones of India with ma'am, and she wrote to me immediately if I'm free and if I can come to ISI to make a presentation on heritage stones. I immediately grabbed the opportunity, and there was no better opportunity than talking about stones because it's not just my profession but my passion. So this is the presentation which I'm going to make today. Stones, timeless beauty, and more. And it is for the audience to decide whether stones do impact us in our day-to-day lives, how important they are, and why we should know about these stones. So I want to start this presentation with a disclaimer. I am not an architect, I am not an archaeologist, I am not an historian, I am not a literary person, but I am a geologist. So I am fascinated by stones, rocks, and I study stones and rocks. So let us start with this presentation. And I want to make a quote. It's by Gustav Bond. We talk with reason when we say that nothing is more clearly written than what is written in stone. I think this quote captures the essence of my talk today. So I want to start with this small pot. I want to hold it in my hand. So this is a beautiful example of geodiversity and biodiversity. I know all of you understand what is biodiversity. All life forms. But the soil and the pot, which is made up of clay, is supporting this plant. So both geodiversity and biodiversity are extremely important for us. And this is how we have to nurture the young generation, that they realize the importance of geodiversity. Okay. The talk has been structured into three parts: the concept and terminology, heritage stones, relevance and examples, and way forward. Okay. So the term geodiversity pertaining to abiotic materials of Earth was coined almost 3 decades back in essence and equivalence to biodiversity. Well, all of you understand biodiversity. It is coexistence of all life forms. So this is the logo of geodiversity. This was celebrated for the first time on 6th October 2022, although the term was coined almost 30 years back. So it took us so long to make UNESCO realize how important geodiversity is for us. So geodiversity, along with biodiversity, makes up the natural diversity of the planet. I can make it a little more elaborate. Geodiversity is the natural portion of the planet that includes the Earth's minerals, rocks, fossils, soils, sediments, landforms, and topography, as well as a hydrological features such as rivers, lakes, and the processes that make and modify these features. Now, what I am going to emphasize is it is the source of the materials that build towns and cities which impact us directly. Through its diverse landscapes, colors, and forms, geodiversity also inspires artists and fascinates tourists. So there's a very popular novel written by Satyajit Ray, so Art Killer, and it's very apt. He got inspired by the beautiful yellow color of the limestone, And that is how this movie was conceptualized and then was thoroughly enjoyed by the people in this part of the country. And I think most of the Bengalis I've seen, they visit Jaisalmer Fort for sure. Okay, so in the backdrop, I have put a lot of different rock types. For example, this is the rock of the Shonar Kila, which is Jaisalmer limestone, the yellow limestone. Now we come to the second term, which is geoheritage. Geodiversity is in totality the earth materials, the processes, everything inclusive. Geoheritage is that special part of geodiversity, which has significance in terms of the geological history and which needs to be preserved for posterity. So geoheritage is the abbreviated version of the term geological heritage. It is the part of natural heritage of a certain area constituted by geodiversity, elements with particular geological value and hence worthy of safeguard for the benefit of present and future generations. As I already summed up, for posterity, we need to preserve it. Although some specialists consider that the use of the term geoheritage should be restricted to the sites, the natural sites, which are carved by natural agencies like wind, water, but some contest that the stones, the specimens in museum, they are also part of geoheritage. For example, you have a beautiful geological museum where I just peeked inside and saw a dinosaur fossil kept. So people who cannot go to the field, they can admire and study these fossils in museums. So it also forms part of geoheritage. So I published one paper where these concepts are thoroughly discussed because people tend to interchange the terms geodiversity and geoheritage. One has to be very specific when we talk about these terms. And I work for a organization which is International Union of Geological Sciences, and it has number of scientific commissions. So International Commission on Geoheritage is one such commission which talks about geoheritage in terms of geological heritage sites, heritage stones, and geocollections. Besides all this, IUGS also talks about DDE program, which is Deep Time Digital Earth. Then it has collaboration with UNESCO. We take a lot of IPCB projects. And also UGGPs, which is UNESCO Global Geoparks. I'm not sure how many of you know about the Meghalayan age. I'm sure geology people are aware of this age. People across faculties, if they have heard of this latest, the youngest age on the geological time scale is Meghalayan, which is 4,000 years from now, and the type locality is in India, in Meghalaya, the Mamlu Caves. So that is a UNESCO Global Geopark and IUGS Heritage Site also. So the International Commission on Geoheritage, let us now narrow down to the activities of the Commission of IUGS identifies, recognizes, and designates significant geological heritage sites, stones, and collections. So you can just see in this chart. This commission has 3 sub-commissions, and I work for the second sub-commission, that is sub-commission on heritage stones. Geosites are the ones which are natural, and geocollections are the museum collections. And IUGS Geological Heritage Site is a key place with extraordinary geological elements or processes of the highest scientific relevance used as a global reference. For example, I gave you the example of Meghalayan age, which is from Mamluk area, and or with substantial contribution to the development of geological sciences through history. So if you open up the website of International Commission on Geoheritage, there are 200 important geological heritage sites listed on this website. So we have identified 200 sites as of now. And one example I would like to take, and that is Giant's Causeway of Northern Ireland. Now this is one of the most beautifully preserved columnar basalts. They are so well jointed. We also have one place, St. Mary's Island in Karnataka. So they are also beautiful columnar basalts joined together. These run for 4 to 6 kilometers, and these are a set of 40,000 columnar joints. So this is a UNESCO designated geopark as well as IUGS geological heritage site. Then I talk about the geo collection, which is a museum collection or part of museum collection of global importance. So I want to request ISR, if they have any important geo collection in the museum, they can make a case for designation, because as of now, India has not been able to get any designation from IUGS in terms of its geo collections. Like we have a good meteoritic collection of Natural History Museum, Vienna. They have I have personally been to this place, and it's a very good collection of meteorites. So one example I would like to pick from this list. So they have up to now identified 11 geological specimens housed in some museums, and they are mostly in the Western world, because their inventories are very strong, and you can retrieve all the information on these collections. So the first one, the Frick Ediacara Fossil Collection of South Australia Museum, Adelaide, it's a paleontological collection. So that's what I'm emphasizing. We have a strong paleontology group, and if some of the dinosaur collections in your museum tell some significant story, they can be vetted for designation of geo collections from IUGS. So then I come to my part, which is subcommission on heritage stones. So how do we define a heritage stone? Now this is a peripheral kind of like not a core scientific work. Although it's a scientific commission, but we do talk about cultures, we do talk about traditions, we do talk about civilizations, where stones have been instrumental in propagating all of these. So an IUGS heritage stone is an IUGS designated natural stone that has been used in significant architecture and monuments recognized as an integral aspects of human culture. So this is one editorial which I wrote, and it talks about a lot of information on how we can make a proposal, how we can prepare a proposal, and how the proposal will be evaluated. And if your proposal meets all the criteria defined for designation, it will be reviewed, and finally it will be designated by IUGS Executive Committee. So International Commission on Geoheritage in 2020, although this subcommission came into being in 2016, but in 2020 it got rejuvenated, and a consolidated program of designation of heritage stone was started, where we also recognized and designated these stones. The IUGS Heritage Stone designation aims to promote. So what's the outcome? Okay, I designate a stone today. So what's the benefit to the society? What is the benefit to the scientists? What's the need to designate a stone? So it is to promote geological knowledge, usage, conservation of these culturally, architecturally, and historically significant natural stone. It also serves as an excellent outreach activity, raising public awareness about geological heritage and encouraging its protection and celebration. It's very important. So I've just listed 4 of the Indian stones which have been designated. The first one is the Makrana marble, and I'm sure all of you know the Victoria Memorial in Kolkata is made up of Makrana marble, and I will share a paper and read out a few lines where it was compared with the European marbles and why it was preferred over the European marble. So there's a scientific study which tells us that our marble is much superior and better than the European marbles, which bow very easily. The second one is the Jaisalmer limestone. The third is Algar quartzite. If you look at all the fortification or the forts in Rajasthan, mostly in the northern part, in Jaipur, if you go to Amer, Nahargarh, or Purana Kila in New Delhi, you will see the fortification is all done in Algar quartzite. In fact, the core structures of all the monuments which are clad with red sandstone, if you go to Qutub complex, you will see it's all clad by red sandstone, but the core structure is all of Algar quartzite. Why? We will see why it is so. So the last one is Deccan basalt, and we have three more stones which are now designated. One is the Western Ghats laterite. If ma'am recalls, I spoke about the Western Ghat laterite in 2023, which was in the pipeline then, and now it's a designated stone. Then Charlotite, a metamorphic rock, is also a designated IUGS heritage stone from India. And we have one more stone. I'm not getting the name right now. Okay, so when I get the name, I will let you know. So these are some more interesting papers where we talk about urban geology and the importance of geosites and heritage stones in cities. Geoheritage and cultural heritage, a review of recurrent and interlinked themes. So this is the book which I presented to ma'am also, which documents the first 55 IUGS heritage stones identified from around the globe. But the figure is very lopsided because Europe has 38 stones which are designated. Asia has 8 stones, 2 from North America, 2 from South America, 1 from Africa, and 1 from Australia. So I'll just show you the distribution of these heritage stones on the world map. You can see the clustering all along Europe because they take a lot of pride in talking about their heritage, about their stones, and how they make plans to even preserve and conserve them. So these are the statistics. You'll see 38%, as I already mentioned. Asia has 8 stones, and 7 are from India, and 1 is from Japan. And we also have diversity in terms of the types of rocks. So in rock types, you can see 24 are the sedimentary rocks, which include limestone, sandstone, breccia, and laterite. In igneous rocks, we have granites, basalts, rhyolite, and trachyte. Whereas in metamorphic rocks, we have charnocite, we have slates, we have phyllites. These are all scientific names of the rocks. And country-wise also, you can see how the distribution is. And India has the maximum stones designated, that is 7 stone. Let me see the one which I missed. It's the Himachal slate, I forgot, which is nearer to my place, nearer to Chandigarh. Okay, so part 2 of my talk covers relevance and examples. So I just go through the slides. It is for you to decide whether they need to be documented and how much they impact us in our day-to-day lives. So how heritage stones helps us in understanding history and cultures. So let us look at this image of Kali. This is a sandstone relief from Beraghat near Jabalpur, although Beraghat is known for marble. And this is a 10th century image. I think to date we worship Kali. So don't you think this has propagated our beliefs? The second image is of Durga, which is also in red sandstone. Now, what this image depicts? The multitasking Durga. The third image, where she's slaying the Mahisasur, the demon. And look at how we perceive it now. So this is what you see in the pandals these days. So it has carried on from those periods because Durga and Kali are worshipped all along South Asia. Okay, then I want to talk about 9 lives of Delhi. Delhi was a seat of empowerment from times immemorial. And post 11th century, I want to show how Delhi expanded from being confined within Jamuna and Delhi Ridge, which is Alwar Baghdad. So let us see. We published this book which documents the stones which have been used in UNESCO sites of Agra and Delhi. These 5 monuments, Red Fort of Delhi, Humayun's Tomb of Delhi, and Qutub Complex. The 2 monuments which we picked from Agra are the Taj Mahal and the Red Fort of Agra. So if you look at this image, I have a better image after this. The first city post 11th century was Lalkot, followed by Kila Rajpithora, then Siri. So 9 cities are documented here. And look at the traverse of Yamuna River, and this is the Delhi Ridge, which is made up of Albar Quadrant. Why this stone has been used so much all along the fortification and the coring structures of all the monuments is because of its availability. So all the 9 cities, they were part of this triangle, which was confined within the Yamuna and the uh, Delhi Ridge. Even the Delhi of Newton, the New Delhi, is the 9th city, which is also part of this area, Raisena Hills and all these places. So even now, Supreme Court has banned quarrying in Delhi a long time back to preserve the biodiversity of this area because this quarrying was also leading to a lot of catastrophic effects on the biodiversity. So in the background, you can see quartzite, which forms a fortification and which is the coring material for all the monuments housed in Delhi. Now look at how Delhi has expanded. So this is for the 9 cities, and now look the periphery of Delhi, how much it has expanded. So these stones, they form the foundation of what we discovered, what the historians talk about, what the archaeologists talk about, what the architects talk about. But they never talk about the stones. So this is a stone kaleidoscope, an Indian stone kaleidoscope, you can see, where I have put 10 stones covering entire India. The laterite, Vindhyan sandstone, Charnokite. Charnokite also has an association with Calcutta. I hope you all have heard Job Charnock's name. There's a tombstone made of this rock, Charnokite. So the name of the rock is after Job Charnock. People contest that he was a founder of Calcutta, but I think he is not because Calcutta was in existence before Job Charnock came to India. So this rock traveled almost the entire eastern Ghat length to reach Kolkata from Tamil Nadu, a place in Palavana, that is Saint Mount Thomas, where this rock is found. So at that time, this rock was used to make the tombstone or the mausoleum of Job Charnock. Then you can see Makrana marble, Deccan basalt, closipet granite, Hampi, those beautiful acoustics effect pillars in Hampi, they are made up of closipet granite. Himachal slate, the entire Himalayan terrain. You can see the usage of slate in the rooftops, and it is used with wood. So this is a very typical architecture of the Himalayan region where they use wood and slate. And they are to a certain extent resistant to earthquake effects. So the indigenous way of combating an earthquake is architecture. Then we have Alvar quartzite. I spoke a lot about Alvar quartzite and the Jaisalmer limestone. Condylite, the sun temple, the Konark, is made up of this beautiful metamorphic rock, which is condylite. And you can see very interesting garnet on the surface of condylite. These red patches are garnets. Okay, if you look at the distribution of all these rock types, in the kaleidoscope, I missed some of the stones. For example, I did not put Rajnagar marble. So these are all very important stones, and a lot of important monuments are made in these stones. Okay, so I don't want to speak anything, just enjoy the pictures. The Alvar quartzite and the monuments dominate. Now, this is, I need to tell you, this is a ruin from Bhangar Fort. Now, people know about this fort in Rajasthan as the most haunted fort. But do they know it is made up of quartzite, which is all along the ridges? As you enter Jaipur, it's surrounded by quartzite ridges. So one needs to know why this was used. One, it is a very hard, very tough rock. and ideal for maybe fortification or for using as blocks for walls. Then you can see the outcrop of quartzite. This was near Surajkund area. Now it is all banned. You don't query any quartzite from this area. Himachal slates. Have you ever thought of a rock which is so foliated, which has foliations like the leaves in a copy? That can be used for making a sculpture. No one dare to make a sculpture out of a foliated rock. But that's the beauty of the culture we have of sculpturing this rock. So nowhere in the world they make sculptures out of slates. But in India, this Nandi in one of the temples in Himachal is made up of slate. You can see the foliations all along the sculpture. The geologists can very well relate to it, but we usually don't use this kind of rock for sculpturing. Okay, then your favorite Shonar Killa, and this is the rock. How beautifully it glows when the sunlight falls on it. And these are the cenotaphs, Jain cenotaphs, the burial grounds. And we also got some good media coverage. So I see Anvesha sitting here, and I really want somebody from the media should also promote our stones and how they are inherent part of our culture. So a lot of ways where it can be used. So these are the old Havelis, mansions in Jaisalmer. And since it's a dry arid area, limestones are very prone to weathering. But they are standing strong because it's dry area and people had the knowledge that this stone can be durable in these conditions. It has also been used as an inlay material in, if you go to Taj Mahal, you will see a lot of inlay work. So those stones, they followed very interesting trade routes from where those semi-precious, precious stones came and how they have done this beautiful inlay work. So Taj Mahal is just not about white Makrana marble. There are 6 different varieties of Makrana marble which have been used in Taj Mahal. Besides that, we have rampant usage of sandstone and these semi-precious stones, slates. So if you ever visit Taj Mahal next time, try to look at different rock types. And they have a small museum besides the main mausoleum. There they have tried to put a lot of interesting semi-precious stones which have been used for this inlay work. So this yellow Jaisalmer limestone has been used at a number of places to enhance the beauty of the marble. So how it is part of our culture? You can see some interesting things made out of this Jaisalmer limestone, which people do use. And when we designated this stone, I received email from one of my colleagues who is from University College of London. She runs a page, Pavement Geology for London, and she was very happy to write to me that one of the temples in London is made up of this Jaisalmer limestone. Ask all of you. We may be having numerous monuments done in, say, Jaisalmer limestone or in Makrana marble or Midland sandstone. How many of these we have documented? Do we have any statistics? Do we have any idea how many different varieties of stones have been used? She being from that place, she wrote to me that they have a temple made in this stone. So she even geotagged this. She kept the location of the stone, from where it comes, what it houses, and fossils. She could identify that. It falls in sedimentary category, the age of these stones. So everything has been documented so well. But how many monuments have we documented? Whenever we go to any monument, we take the pictures of the monument, we take the selfies, we read the historical accounts, but we never ask about the stones. Rather, these stones are the ones which reveal the history, the architecture, the stories. So now coming to Victoria Memorial, I have specifically not put Taj Mahal here. I have put Victoria Memorial. And this is the white variety of Makrana. If you go to Victoria, it's so nearby, you will identify there are different varieties of Makrana marble being used. It's not just the purest white. And I want to now read a small anecdote. Lord Curzon wanted to make this memorial, and he assigned this duty to then Director Thomas Henry of Geological Survey of India to look for European marbles. You know, the Macedonian, the Greek, the Italian marbles are very popular. Every marble sold in the market is in the name of Italian marble. And it's a very fine grained marble, good for sculpturing, but not good for building material. So he assigned this job to another gentleman, L.L. Firmer, to look into the attributes, compare both the marbles. So they got the European marble and the Indian Makrana marble. So what they found, they did a lot of work on these. They placed those marble pieces and they poured them in water. They realized they were less prone to weathering because they were coarser, much better than the European marbles, and that is how Lord Curzon agreed to Holland, and this memorial was built using Makrana marble. And there's a story that the quarries got flooded in 1917, so new quarries got opened. So this is my question and a request too. So you have a very wonderful geology department. Why don't you take this initiative? You have the headquarters of Geological Survey of India. Identify the different rock types used in Victoria Memorial, not stones, but other earth materials. Document them. Why only the history? Why nothing about the stones? Okay, so next time when we visit this memorial, the documentation should be there. Okay, it's not moving. आगे नहीं हो रहा है. Okay, so see, this is the interior. I could identify some sandstones in it. I could identify some black fine grained rock, which could be probably a dolomite or a gabbro or a basalt. I don't know. One needs to really find out. Because I was there just for 1 hour. I had my biometrics appointment in Kolkata. So I arrived in the morning and in 4 or 5 hours, I was able to see the Birla Planetarium and the Victoria Memorial. So I could just photograph some of the interesting parts of this memorial. Now, this is very distinctly the sandstone. This is some metamorphic rock. You can see a nice texture. Although marble is also a metamorphic rock, there's a lot of metal utilized in this. So let us hope the geology people will do something about this memorial. Not only this, but other monuments or other historical buildings in this park. So the Western Ghats Laterite, all the UNESCO designated Goan churches, the forts in Goa or in Maharashtra, they are all made up of laterite. Now this Western Ghat area, what are laterites? Laterites are the weather profiles of the rocks. So when you freshly cut them, they are very soft. They are not apt for building any monument. But if you leave them for 3 months, they get very hardened. So this was also discovered by a physician, strangely, not by a geologist. This is the condylite, which I was talking about, another metamorphic high temperature rock, and these beautiful garnets. If you recall, the image which I sent you on the Women's Day was a condylite carved into a woman sculpture, and it had a natural garnet sitting here as a bindi. So this is Hampi, the wheels of the chariot. This is closet granite. Look at the coarseness of the rock. The Deccan basalt and trachyte. This yellow rock is a trachyte, and the black one is the basalt. This is from Ajanta, Ellora. You know, these are all UNESCO sites. Now, the Charnockite rock, which I was talking about. So the site locality is here. This is Palavana. And from here, the stone traveled to Kolkata. The rock got its name from the name of Job Charnock. So the condylite, the rock which I mentioned before this, also got its name after a tribe in Orissa, the Khon tribe, Condylite. Identically, we have another rock, Gondite, which is manganese rich. It also got its name after a tribe in central India, Gonds. So these are very interesting rock types. So this is in Kolkata. Now look at how this Charnokite has been used in one of the literary figures. This is statue of Oscar Wilde. So I was talking to somebody and he laughed. Have you ever seen shoes made out of stones? Yes, this statue has all the stones used. The sculpture is made of exotic materials. This is in Merrion Square, Dublin. So if you ever get a chance to visit Dublin, do visit this. As a geologist, you must. I have been to this place. Fun to be here. So this green jade is nephrite. It is from Yukon, Canada. This white jade is from Guatemala, which is the south of Mexico. It's part of Central America. Head and hands of rare pink stone called light, which is from Norway. The trousers are of blue pearl granite. Geologists must be aware of the term labradorite. It has very big labradorite, which shows play of colors. So this rock is known as blue pearl granite. So these pants are made of this labradorite, again from Norway. And shoes and socks. So I've just tried to magnify this. These are made from Indian charnokites. Okay, now one international stone I want to talk about because this has given us the art of lithography, which has revolutionized the print media. Okay, so madam, are you aware of this stone, Schönhornfels limestone? And what a beautiful thing. This was also not discovered by any scientist. The person who discovered it was an actor, was an artist. Okay. So the noble one and the world's most famous lithographer stone. So Schönhornfels limestone was used initially within the region for simple construction purposes and then above all roofing plates. Traditional houses called Dwar House in the area of Schönhornfels. Now this was a signature stone of that region. Like any stone can be a signature stone of that region because people tend to locally use those stones. But what caught attention of the world is how it was used to discover the art of lithography. So this is interesting. The person was Alois Sandflager, and his father was an actor. So he was experimenting with making some plates, and then accidentally, when he put some noting with a greasy pencil on this Bavarian limestone, he saw the cast formed on it, and then he kept trying for 2 years, and he could manage to do it. So it's a very interesting story. So Sandfelder records that one day he jotted down a laundry list with grease pencil on a piece of Bavarian limestone. It occurred to him that if he etched away the rest of the surface, the markings would be left in relief. 2 years of experimentation eventually led to the discovery of a flat surface printing, modern lithography. In 1818, he documented his discovery, and there's this website where you can see how it developed part by part. I cannot run it here, but this is a link where it takes you to the complete procedure. So in their museum, they have very nicely preserved all the steps, how this was used as a lithographic stone. So these are some of the images where you can see Part 3, way forward. Now I have left the ball in your court to decide whether stones deserve to be recognized. So when UNESCO designates any cultural site or any natural site or a mixed site, there are certain criteria. I'm sure all of you know West Bengal has 2 UNESCO sites. One is your Sundarban which is a natural site, and the other one is the Darjeeling Himalayan Railways network. That's a mixed site. So I will first show you the 10 criteria. The first 6 criteria, am I running out of time? Please stop me because I get carried away. Although I'm just about to end in another 5 minutes. Okay. Okay. So these are the 10 criteria. The first 6 are for the cultural designation of cultural heritage, and the last 4 are for the natural site designation. If you look at all these criteria, they are masterpiece of human creative genius. For example, Taj Mahal fits into it. Or to exhibit important interchange of human values over a span of time. Somewhere or the other, they talk about everything based on stones, because most of the cultural sites, if they are intangible, it's a different thing. But most of the tangible ones are mostly related with stones or earth materials. Nowhere they have opted for a criteria of stone. So this is the way forward. We are doing a campaign where we want UNESCO to adopt the stone criterion as one of the most important criterion for designating any cultural site. There is no information on the stone, no information on the quarry, no information how the stone was transported or what are the properties of the stones. So they have to take into account why stones are important, because everything else is based, the architecture, the culture, the tradition is based on the stones. So, as I said, Makrana marble, expression of love, memory, architecture, craftsmanship, aesthetic inspiration for poets and writers. Craftsmanship, you can take any stone and you will find commonalities in them. But what binds them together is the stone. 3 examples I picked up, I'll quickly run through. Why Ruby Gerina limestone? It is also used in the UNESCO building in Paris. The Deccan basalt of India and the Bath stone of UK, again a limestone. Now, these have been designated, these monuments which use these stones have been designated based on those criteria. For example, the criteria 4 has been used for giving this megalithic freestanding structures. It means just the stone blocks are kept one over the other. Now, see how the evolution of architecture took place. These freestanding structures, where the stones are just stacked together. Look at this. This is a megalithic temple, 4,000 years old. And how we have evolved to Taj Mahal. How much defined. So, for the next city of Bath, criteria 1, 2, and 4. For Deccan basalt, you see criteria 1, 3, and 6. So, all the 6 criteria, like somewhere 1 criteria fulfills, somewhere 2, somewhere more than 2. So this is how UNESCO identifies. But nowhere they talk about the stones. So this is the way forward. We want that UNESCO and people should pay attention to the significance in stones. I want to acknowledge my students and my co-workers. I started working on these in 2017. And I want to thank my parents since it's a Women's Day. My family is my big support, my 2 sisters and my parents. So thank you all. I hope you enjoyed and will keep enjoying these timeless beauties on earth. So they are just not the beauties, but they are much more than that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Professor Gurmeet, for a very different, very enlightening talk. It was like, having new glasses or new lens where you can see everything very differently, in a very new way. And I'm sure nobody will look at a monument in the same way again, or look at stones in the same way again. We'll never see Shonakala in the same way again, or visit Victoria Memorial and not care about the stones anymore. So it's a very, very different and very refreshing talk. Thank you very much for coming all the way and spending time here. And again, a lot of work for the geologists here and for ISI as an institute to carry forward your mission in life. So again, yeah, we can't wear garnet jewelry anymore without thinking about that. So it was all kinds of very good. So it was like we read the novel without knowing ABC. So now, we learn the alphabets and now and look at the, bigger picture also. Thank you very much. Thanks very much. Um, so maybe we'll just move on to the next program of the evening. Many women are singing together of this. One is in a shoe factory cursing the machine, one is at the aquarium tending a seal, one is dull at the wheel of her Ford, one is at the toll gate collecting, one is tying the cord of a calf in Arizona, one is traveling a cello in Russia, one is shifting pots on the stove in Egypt, one is painting her bedroom walls moon color, one is dying but remembering a breakfast. One is stretching on her mat in Thailand, one is wiping the axe of her child, one is staring out the window of a train in the middle of Wyoming. And one is anywhere and some are everywhere and all seem to be singing, although some cannot sing a note. All seem to be singing from very different walks of life. We are absolutely delighted to have two amazing women amongst us, two amazing women achievers amongst us from very diverse professions as our panelists today. Srimati Damayanti Sen and Ms. Annesha Shatra, and I'll be introducing them. And may I please request Monali of our library unit to please come up on stage and felicitate both are panelists. So Ms. Damayanti Sen and Annesha, can you please come up on stage? Srimati Damayanti Sen completed her postgraduate in economics from Jadavpur University and joined Indian Police Service in 1996. She has served in different capacities in both Kolkata Police and West Bengal Police, some being Deputy Commissioner of Central Division and Special Branch of Kolkata Police, Joint Commissioner of Crime in Kolkata, and Deputy Inspector General of Police Darjeeling Range, Deputy Inspector General of Police CID, and Additional Director General of Police Training in West Bengal. Presently, she is holding charge of Additional Director General of Police Policy in West Bengal Police. We are immensely happy to have you. And I know she doesn't go to any public meetings or ceremonies, so I'm especially very thankful, ma'am, for your time. And may I also now introduce Annesha. Annesha is a journalist at The Statesman, where she brings critical issues to the forefront. With a strong focus on human rights violations, she amplifies the voices of those often unheard, shedding light on pressing societal concerns that demand attention and change. Her work extensively covers women's rights, exposing the realities of exploitation, trafficking, domestic violence, and sexual harassment and assaults on women. She also delves into the rehabilitation of sex workers, children, and the rights of sex workers themselves, advocating for dignity and systemic reform. Additionally, Anish is a vocal supporter of transgender rights, challenging discrimination and highlighting the need for legal and social equity. Beyond her human rights reportage, Anisha has a deep passion for heritage and travel journalism, capturing the essence of cultural legacies and historical narratives. Through her writing, she brings to life stories of forgotten monuments, architectural wonders, and communities that preserve tradition while adapting to modernity. And you have a special responsibility now to look for the stones as well. As a lawyer herself, Anvisha combines her legal expertise with journalistic pursuits, ensuring her work is grounded in legal awareness and justice. Her reporting is not just about storytelling, it is about impact, change, and advocacy for a more just world. I couldn't agree more. I've read her writings in Statesman. They are very powerful, very impactful, and everyone should read it. Thank you. So the panel, so Monali, please. So, okay, Srimoy from the director's office will now felicitate Annesha Shanta with a token of her appreciation. Thank you very much. Please have a seat. So we hear a lot being said about increasing women's representation everywhere. Even in ISI, we have a system of supernumerary seats for girls. Right from the application stage, there's effort to encourage women candidates. The application fee for women candidates is lower. But does increasing women representation lead to gender equality? That link may not be obvious. That is what our panel discussion is about. Mola Bhattacharya, my colleague from the Machine Intelligence Unit, I said, will moderate the panel discussion. So, Mola, over to you. Thank you.
Okay, so welcome everyone. So it's our privilege to be here along with two dignitaries to talk about gender equality. So being at Indian Statistical Institute, talk about numbers, we must understand that gender equality is not just bound by, equality. So if we just take in numbers, how many male are there, how many female are there can be a lot of statistics available, but just by numbers, we cannot really do that. There is something missing that we keep on discussing, we keep on understanding. Like there are a lot of issues like pay gap is there. So there are issues like basic access to the amenities like education, like health, as Professor Munshi was also pointing out, a lot of issues are still there. Safety is again a very important concern. So we're basically having this panel discussion today to understand what is the actual gap that we have. So if we just make a policy like increasing participation of women, is it really helping finally to get the gender equality done? And especially looking into the numbers, I told you numbers doesn't tell anything, but still the position, the GII, which is the global, the gender inequality index for India was in 2022, it was like 108 out of 193 countries. In 2023, it rises up to 127 out of 146 countries. In 2024, it's now 129. So there is still missing something. We are missing something. It's not just adding numbers as a policy. So to start the discussion, I just want to understand what's the perspective about this gender equality within our panelists today. Over to you, Ms. Jane. What do you think? What's your perspective toward gender equality, first of all?
First of all, I would like to thank ISI for inviting me to this Hallowed Institute. This was the first occasion when I'm here. I had always looked into it from outside as Prashanta Mahalanobish's house at first, and then ISI, in both of which are very important landmarks in my district. With regard to this discussion, on a very lighter note, I'll say something. I come from an organization which is by nature and by the way people perceive it, an extremely patriarchal organization. I don't know about academics. I understand because my husband is in academics. I understand that is also a very patriarchal organization, but not so outwardly so as much as mine. Anyway, so initially when this gender thing became fashionable, I think it became fashionable 20 years back, 25 years back, when gender sensitization programs started happening in organizations. And in our organization, I don't know about you, always women were sent for the training programs. So today I am being reminded of that. Only women are talking about, why gender is so important. Anyway, that's in a very lighter. I have written down something because I thought I am coming with such an academic place, I should not go down. What is gender equality for me? Gender equality for me, it's a very common sense thing for me. It means equal opportunities, equal access, irrespective of irrespective of gender being a factor in it. We don't consider height being a factor in any kind of work except if it's in the physical format, something of that sort. So why this question arises? Definitely there must be some barriers. So for me, gender equality means equal access, the level playing field.
To you, Ms. Chen. Ms. Shatra,
Thank you, Professor Bhattacharya. Firstly, it gives me immense pleasure to talk about women's rights and gender equality at this esteemed organization. Thank you so much, the director, Shambhamitra Bandhopadhyay, and Professor Shobhanitra Munshi, who reached out to me with the lovely invitation of speaking here. And I'm absolutely, I'm overwhelmed to have Ms. Damayanti Sen, ADG of West Bengal Police. So, firstly, I'd like to begin with a quote from one of my favorite novels. I'm sure many of you sitting here have read it. It's A Thousand Splendid Suns by Khalid Hosseini. So the quote goes, a society has no chance of success if its women are uneducated. So to answer, Professor, your question, I think the journey towards comprehensive gender equality is far from complete. Gender equality, as definition means all individuals, regardless of their gender, have equal access, as Ms. Sen pointed it out, have equal access to rights, opportunities, and resources in every aspect of life: education, employment, politics, healthcare, and personal freedoms, which includes bodily autonomy. It ensures that people are not discriminated against based on gender and can pursue their aspiration without societal bias. Now, despite concerted efforts, achieving gender equality remains an ongoing challenge. Now, I have a few statistics here. The World Economic Forum's Global Gender Gap Report of 2024 indicates that at the current pace, it will take approximately 132 years to close the global gender gap. This projection underlines the persistent disparities across various sectors. Globally, women possess only 64% of the legal rights accorded to men, highlighting significant legislative gaps that hinder gender parity. Alarmingly, a woman or a girl is killed every 10 minutes by a partner or a family member. Conflict-related sexual violence has released by 50% since 2022, with 95% of victims being women and girls. Women continue to face global disparities, including wage gaps and underrepresentation in leadership roles. Globally, women earn less than men within the gender pay gap, estimated at around 20%. This means women earn 80% of what men earn. To you, Professor.
Yeah, so we are understanding that certainly there are a lot of sectors in which this kind of, gaps are visible. So to continue to the core question of this discussion, Ms. Shatra, do you think the way we think, increasing the participation of women in this kind of sectors will actually be solving the problem?
Well, I mean, it's very crucial to have women participation, to combat gender equality. I mean, to get there. But it's not sufficient on its own. Now, gender equality requires systemic changes that address underlying structural barriers, cultural norms, and power dynamics. For example, not simply increasing the number of women in leadership, politics, or in the workplace, be it any workplace, does not automatically translate to equal opportunities or decision-making power. Now, if women remain in lower power jobs or face workplace biases, representation alone is completely ineffective. Gender equality requires legal and institutional changes such as equal pay, parental leave policies, anti-harassment laws, and flexible work environments. Now, without such measures, I think increased participation may be rather symbolic rather than being very transformative. In many societies, as you see, and that includes the Indian society as well, traditional gender roles limit women's ability to fully engage in decision making, even when they are present in large numbers. Encouraging women's participation without addressing deep-rooted biases often leads to tokenism rather than real change. Women's participation, I think, must be accompanied by financial independence, property rights, access to credit, and equal opportunities for career advancement. I think a broad-based approach ensures participation that leads to equity, not just numerical parity. Without these, just participation alone risks being a superficial metric rather than a genuine measure of equality.
It's a very good point to talk about really equality and equity on this particular point. So what's your take on this, Ms. Chen?
I totally agree with what Anisha was saying. Participation for me, I guess, it's the first step. It is a very important step because unless one participates, the next stage doesn't begin. But the participation is a very, very initial stage, I should say. As Anisha has said, participation, what does it do? Participation helps, first of all, in normalizing the issue of gender. Because you would all recall when only men would be working. I remember my mother saying about these when they traveled in trams at that time in Calcutta to go to colleges. Since there were very few women, they were a spectacle in themselves. And they were very concerned about how to tie their sari and what length their blouses should be because the entire focus of the tram where they would, girl would travel would totally turn into that woman. So the first step is participation because it normalizes the issue, the gender that the other gender exists outside the four walls of the family. This is the first enunciation which is done by participation. And but why it is so inadequate? Because participation does not is not self-sustaining in itself if the other factors do not fall into place. In the unorganized sector, as Anisha was saying, in India, the women laborers, they earn at least 40% less than men in the agricultural farming. In industrial areas, it's the same story. And in the organized sector also, it's not so pronounced or not so blatant, but very in a very covered way in the corporates and other areas, the women are paid much less on the guys that they have to take more offs, they have to take more leaves and so on and so forth. So these are the issues, these wage gaps, workplace discrimination, and the always this specter of exploitation and harassment is always there. But I would agree, I would totally univocally say that participation is very, very important. And participation is the first step because if there is no participation, the next stages don't even begin. This conversation doesn't even begin.
Yeah, missing, as you rightly pointed out, that participation is the very first stage to, get the ball rolling. So what do you think? What are the major challenges to have this participation happen? I mean, let's point out something like a reservation system or anything. So do you feel there are some challenges here that we still need to address?
It's full of challenges. When you are saying still need to address, I would say we just need to address because we haven't addressed it at all. And it's a very big elephant in the room. If I say that asking women to participate while espousing the holy place of the family in the social structure as it is today is like, you're asking the thief to steal and asking the domestic person to put a lock on the door. If I do not talk about the family being a responsibility of the collective, of both the man and the woman, and pushing or saying that women are not so eager, they are very shy about participating, we need to put out stops. We must think twice why it is like so. Women are not stupid. All of you must be knowing by this time, because all of you are encountered women everywhere, where whatever you may tell them about, they are volatile, they are X, they are Y, they are Z, but no one can claim all women are stupid. Why do women shy out of the workplaces? Why do women shy out of responsibilities? Because in no way she can shed herself out of that donkey labor of the household, whether she is working out or not, whether she is a farm laborer, whether she is a top-notch corporate executive, as you have all heard the famous talk of Indra Nooyi, I am sure, and wherever she is, it is more or it is less, but it is there. But why should it be so? Is there any logic? Is there any kind of scientific study which establishes women are better caregivers? I don't think so. Then why is it so? There are so many points. I'm sure Anisha will say so many things. I also have noted down a lot of points, but these all become redundant if we refuse to question that structure of the family and that entire premise that the family structure will break once a woman spends more time out of the family. This particular notion is very disturbing, as I think.
Ms. Shakta, I want to listen to your voice on this particular issue.
Right, so it's very rightly pointed out by Ms. Sen. So I think challenge often lies in how participation is, structured rather than just the numbers. So reservation system, sure, we have gender quotas in politics, we have in workforce, but sure, they boost women's representation, but their effectiveness depends on execution. So, I think we very much have like the very, we would not have, having been discussed this issue here had it not been for the patriarchy. So, but yeah, I mean, the deep instituted patriarchy which is still there, now that actually is a challenge. So, now critics argue that reservation systems may lead to tokenism, what I was saying it before. So, when women are included to just meet quotas rather than based on merit. However, research shows that when women are given opportunities, they perform as well as or even better than their male counterparts. So simply increasing numbers doesn't guarantee decision-making power. In many cases, women in reserved positions are still overshadowed by male-dominated structures or as proxies for male relatives in politics. So if workplaces or political systems do not change their culture, adding women doesn't just remove discrimination, harassment, or bias. Without addressing these barriers, participation can just feel symbolic rather than transformative. Yeah.
So I just finally want to ask the simple question. What's your additional insights on this from your own areas of work? Can you give us some additional insights?
I would say that we have come a long way. When I entered service in 1996 and I joined the cadre West Bengal in 1997, there were two IPS officers in the cadre who were women. And today, in 2000, before I came, I just took the figure out. Today, I think we have 35 women IPS officers in West Bengal. So we have come a long way as of in participation and as of in the decision-making places. So this is a very important thing. And at that time, I remember there were 1% women in the total figure of total police persons in West Bengal. Today, the figure is 14.13%, which is pretty high considering the structure of the police organization. And we are aspiring to go to at least 33% as per the guidelines, national guidelines. But we are now at 14, and the number of women officers are pretty high in all ranks. In police, sub-inspectors and upwards, they are the very crucial bulwarks of police organization. They do the investigation. They are the primary investigating the roles they play in police, and that figure has gone up in a very significant way. And there are efforts are underway in the next few years in the police recruitment board, because now it has been understood that having women in token roles in the police is not serving the purpose anymore. So in our organization, we have come a long way. I would again share a very funny anecdote. When I joined as a professional, initially when you join from the National Police Academy to the states, you are appointed as a probationary officer in a district for 6 months to work as an officer in charge of a police station, a rural police station, in order to get the feel of how the work is done, so that in future when you become leaders of the force, you know what to do. And I was a officer in charge in a very small rural police station. The original officer in charge, he was just made to, be in meeting somewhere. And he would be guiding me in case I needed anything, because I was absolutely green on just with theoretical knowledge from the training academy. So much of words I am saying, because in short, there was no women washroom or toilets in the police station. Nobody thought about it because there was no woman staff in the police station. There, in fact, the men folk also didn't have a proper bathroom. It is a thing that at that time, the infrastructure in police was horrible. So it was a very broken down kind of a small shanty kind of police station, very small rural police station. Now it has become almost a part of the main town of Howrah. At that time, it was very small. And it had a small covered kind of a, what should I say, a urinal for men. So there was no scope for any women to go to any toilets. So the OC was an elderly gentleman, was an excellent person, and he would ask me, his quarters was adjoining, so I would be, if I ever wanted to use the toilet, and I could have said that, most of the days I didn't even say because it was so embarrassing at that time. Nowadays we have become much more, shameless. So he would hit the very first day he told me, madam, if you want to use the bathroom, very shyly he told me, my portal is adjourned, please come, my wife is there. And so I would, avail that facility sometimes. From there, what I am coming to is every police station is now equipped with, it's a very small step, but for us it's a big thing. Not only toilets, proper toilets, we have women barracks, we have women changing rooms, because we have a lot of women working. That is where participation comes. Because when the pressure of numbers come, then these things, the organization is forced to make the infrastructure. Then the questions, officers in charge started asking, if I have to take so many of these women, where will I put them at night? Where will they go use the bathroom? I have to then leave them in the evening. What is the use when I need them at night? So those pressurize the organization. So it is one way also of getting what you need. That way we got the toilets, we got, and very soon I'm wishing and hoping the efforts are underway, but there are a lot of hindrances, as in any government especially. There are a lot of red tapes about crashes. In women, in the police, in organizations where police where the duties are round the clock, if there are pressures to keep younger children, women, because the reality is whatever I had said in my earlier point, that's what we aspire for. But the reality is the woman is the main caregiver. And if the husband and wife are both working outside, the woman has to finally take the child with her when she is going out. As you saw in that photograph of that RPF constable who was very much painted as the Mother India kind of thing. But why was she forced to carry the woman, Bechara, poor child on her bosom? Because there was nobody at home to look after. If she had a crash at her workplace, she would not have to do the same. That we are aspiring, our present ED is also trying, but it's still not there. But we have come a long way. And we have, previously, there were no place to go for complaints like sexual harassment. Nobody even would dare to speak up because there was one girl and all male officers in the police station, and the entire environment would be very so-called macho. But it has so much changed because at one point, if you enter into any police station, there will be 10, 15 young, many of you will find 10, 15 young girls roaming around. So the language has changed quite a bit, quite a bit. It has not changed totally, but it has changed quite a bit. The entire environment has become a more of a, a kind of a normal, so-called humane it's not, it doesn't smell so much of machoism because it was very natural to the men also. They didn't even know how to interact with a woman in the workplace. They just didn't have any idea. When I joined the workforce, I sometimes felt because we come from a very elite kind of a background. It's very difficult to, it's very easy to judge people. But when you understand where that person is coming, you have to understand that person has never encountered a working woman in this kind of a level in his own life. So he doesn't even know how to interact, how to talk, what to do with that person. So when that normalizes, I feel it's a big step. In my organization, if you ask me, it's a big step, but we still have to go a long way. But in my organization, participation has helped because not only in the ranks of the police, we have a huge number of civic volunteers also who are helping out. They are also the number of girls there is also huge. So the total number which is at present in a police station who are females, the number is quite big. And now the government has also made a reservation for transgender. So we are looking, but there will be so many challenges for that. Because we are a very old organization and very traditional roles we are expected to play in society. So that will be a huge challenge for us also. But we will take it up because the government has decided that it will happen. And once that participation comes, new challenges will open up. new problems will arise, but things will be sorted out also in its own way. Because unless there is some kind of a push, nothing happens, nothing changes. So in context of my organization, I would say we have come really, really a long way. Previously, in any even official get-togethers, we would see one or two girls, or one of us, two of us, we would be roaming around, and everybody would notice. We would be like, we would joke that if one male colleague was absent, we are a very hierarchical organization. So we are a bit concerned whether our boss notices or not. So we would say we can't be absent because one resigns. I am absent. Everybody knows she is not there. But once you are absent, we would joke with our batchmate. Nobody would notice because there are 15 of you. So that has changed a lot now. When I see so many young officers in all ranks, it's very heartening. But then we have a long, long way to go.
Instructor, we know that you belong to two different areas like law and journalism. Could you please give us additional insights on this?
Sure, Professor Bhattacharya. Now, being a lawyer and a journalist, I think both are pursuits of the truth. We seek the truth. I mean, despite what Bollywood shows, or well, lawyers do pursue truth. So yeah, so I think coming from a journalism background, since I'm working there right now, so we often have assignments that where we need to go out to report late at night. It could be politics, it could be crime, it could be conflict areas, it could be disasters, now man-made or natural calamities, but it could be. So now, as women journalists, going there to a very conflict or a volatile zone, people see it as very unsafe. Now, I'm not saying it is not unsafe because it still definitely is, but still, women are the only, I think, gender who are questioned that why are you out so late? I mean, there was this, I'm going to share this, a very funny, I think. So when I just joined journalism, so there was this family friend. So she asked my father, so, okay, what is she going to report on? Fashion. And my father goes, no, like, she's into journalism, she likes human rights violation. Like, and she's like, shaky, what the So I thought that was really funny. I mean, coming from a female herself, I think it was really funny that how deep rooted the patriarchy still is, in the society. That still, covering crime, covering wars or politics, this is still seen as what men do, women do. Women cover softer beats, fashion, could be cinema or anything lifestyle. But when it's something conflict or controversial, it's the men do it. So I think that much, that thing is very much there. But again, I mean, from my colleagues or the people I've worked with, people from other media houses, as a woman, I still have, I mean, I'm very lucky, to be, to have not been harassed yet, and to have been very well respected being a woman in the society and in the field of journalism. So yeah.
To summarize, it appears like, participation will certainly open doors, but it will also open many challenges. But as soon as the challenges do come, we can, address them. Without understanding the challenges, we cannot do that. So we'll take a couple of quick questions from the audience.
Fine.
You can take it.
Big salute to as an organizer committee for putting a police ADG and a human rights journalist on the same stage. I have a question for each of you. The police is an organization which is, as you said, inherently very macho and patriarchal. I've seen it that the police within the force itself deals with the women officers in a very derogatory way. Sometimes it's the more menial work which is given to the women officers, and also when the police is treating people who are coming into the police station to file a complaint, where women are given a very different kind of treatment from men. So how do you work on issues like that within and outside of the force? And for you, do you ever feel that as a journalist, it's easier for people to talk to you because you're a woman and people might feel more comfortable and you get better data out of them being a woman?
As you said, as I said before, it's a continuous work. It's a continuous work and it is, but we have come a long way. It's not anymore a reality that the officers in the force are only given menial work. Now, a lot of officers are doing a lot of very important work. A lot of them are officers in charges of police stations. We have, I think, more than 32 all-women police stations where the OCs are women. And even which are not women police stations, there also you will find a lot of women officers who are in charges of police stations, which is a very big deal. I tell you, in the police hierarchy, it's a very, very big deal. Being an officer of a police station is a tougher position than being any IPS officer, I can tell you that. The kind of issues they have to tackle, the kind of resources they have, it is just unimaginable to any of us sitting here. They are all doing that. And previously, yes, 30 years back, it was so that they were normally used as a token to go to law and orders involving women in order to avoid human rights issues, so to say. But it is no longer so because nowadays they are performing in all our cyber police stations. In every police station, every divisions of the city, in every commissionerate, in every district, we have a very important cyber wing. We have extremely qualified women officers who are cyber experts there because lots of women are coming in with technical qualifications and mind-boggling skill sets. So they are the cyber officers there. They are doing amazing work in recovering. Many of you, if any of you have had any experience of recovery of a mobile phone of yours, whether you get a call from the police that your mobile phone has been found, so please come and collect. In the back of it, mostly it was a woman because they are doing this kind of a work a lot. And the coming to the statement that you made about treatment of women, both of them are very generalized statements. In fact, a lot of it is true, and it is very easy also to make such statements because police is, known black sheep. It's yes, there are a lot of instances, but one or two behind the instances where women have not been treated as they should have been. There are everyday issues where they are treated as they should be also, but they are not highlighted. And actually, they should not be because that is how things should be. Totally agree with you. And where it is not being done, we are working on it. We are continuously having now in all our trainings, we have incorporated the soft skill part. Because now we have realized in the last 10, 15 years, we have realized that we are as much as a public dealing organization as any call center or any bank, even more than that, because people are coming to us in the most distressed state, and our people need to have that kind of a skill set for talking to people. Many times our people are all well-intentioned, but they just don't know how to talk, don't have the proper vocabulary, and don't have the proper body language. That creates a huge amount of misunderstanding. I'll again give you a funny example. I was a deputy commissioner of a particular division in a particular in the city. And then one person comes to me, a public member of the public. Every day, anybody can come and visit the DC. So he complained that I went to the police station. There was a family dispute between two shorties of the house. I went to the police station. I was very aggrieved, and that fellow told me, "আপনাদের এই ঝগড়া 50 বছর শেষ হবে না, বাড়ি গিয়ে ঝগড়া করুন." And he said, "What is this fellow? I think he's totally in hands in glove with my opponent party with this X and Y." And I totally realized that this officer must have been fed up. It was 11 o'clock at night. He must have been hungry. He couldn't even go to eat. And he must have been dealing with this family's dispute for ages. And he must be totally disgusted. Then I had to ask, I said, "This is very wrong." I told that person, I said, "How can this fellow say that?" Totally, I agree with you. This fellow has totally this thing. I will never, I am sure this fellow never comes and, deals with your complaint. I'll give it to another very good fellow and so on. And then later when I visited the police station, I called that person and said, "Right, what you have told this?" He said, "Madam, now I'm whatever you felt, you can just keep quiet. When you are very irritated also, it's not very easy. All of us know when we are at the most agitated, hungry, thirsty state. But in police, you just can't afford to do that. I can just tell you. In the law and order, people are bursting abuses on you. It's happened to me time and again. They are saying all, then you will find me, then a person like me or who are, on the upper ranks, elite ranks, they will say, why have we done so many degrees to listen to all these courses that we even don't know the half of the meanings? Anyway, but that is the beauty of your job, that you have, you have to go through that because the person is abusing not you as a person, you have to understand the person has all his frustration and he has to dump it on some agency of the authorities, and we are the visible, most visible organ of the state. So we have to bear the brunt. So that is what our job, that is not very easy. So we are working on that. It's work on progress.
What's your name, sir?
Training.
Sure. So I think it's a very good question. Like just recently, I wrote an article on workplace sexual harassment, and that included women from journalism and public relations as well, because both work very closely together. So as a woman myself, like no, I still do not think that it's very easy to just come up to someone or just because I'm a woman to just speak to them. But again, predators do exist and they will haunt you down. I have friends, I have friends in the public relations, so I'll just share it's a very harrowing experience what she shared with me. I'm not going to say her name, of course. So what happened is now that came from a male journalist. Now what he tried is while she was on duty, he inappropriately touched her and took her pictures, which he sent them to her mobile phone at night. Now, I think just because we are, as media professionals or in the people in the public relations, just because we are in the public platform, no, it doesn't give you the right to click our pictures. No, it doesn't give you the right to talk to us any time of the night. Because a lot of people think that yes, we are available 24/7, journalists work 24/7. Sure, we work, but we are not we will not text you back or we will not call you back whenever you need to. But again, I mean, like since I have not faced anything as of yet, so I think we have come a long way. I think people before me maybe might have been harassed or just because they were a woman, they were very easy to approach. But I think as in the 21st century, it's 2025. And I think we have done a little bit to reach, gender equality, just a little bit, but it's a huge, huge way to go.
So the final question from Professor Kaur.
Yeah, I resonate with the same statement regarding the ladies' toilet. When I joined the Department of Geology at Punjab University as a BSc honors student, there was no ladies' toilet, and we go to the neighboring departments, computer science and physics. So when I became a faculty in the same department, and during one of the faculty meetings, I requested a chairperson that we should have a ladies' toilet in the department because then also we used to go to geography or to computer science. So one of the very senior faculty members, professors, he joked. He said, we'll call a mobile van for them. So how insensitive on his part. So it's very challenging for all of us. So this is what I wanted to share. And my question is, like 10% of us, as you already mentioned, the elite or the educated strata, what about the 90% who are not even aware of the significance of this day? When we celebrate such events, what we do for them? You as a police officer, or she as a media person, or madam as a director of this institute, how can we make it so inclusive so that they also know what their rights are or what are the things we can do for them? I know it's not that easy to make them part of. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we are really, really sorry because we are running out. Okay, the final question. Yeah.
You respond.
I don't know. I frankly don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. As an organization, it's very difficult in our class-ridden society like ours, where we are very conscious about, look, we are today talking in English. We are not using any vernacular, so everything, we exclude, our processes are very exclusive. It's not inclusive at all.
Yeah, I am Professor Chiranjeev Chakravarti from Hyderabad University. I am chair professor over here. And I just sharing of my thoughts. Recently, what happened, one of my colleagues, means female colleague, was associate professor, assistant professor, senior assistant professor in our department. Now, his family is going to shift in London because her husband was a computer engineer. Now he's a computer engineer. He is going to shift in London. So in that part, she has to quit her job and she has to go to London with her.
Change your name here.
So she is the PhD and postdoc. She was associated with me in research. And she has very good skill set in research and published near about 10 papers in very high impact journal. And I how to share this view, how to solve this problem in the society. So I have no, it's not a question, it's a just a view sharing of my view on.
Thank you. So just to conclude this session, let me give you a really interesting and funny story. There was a railway inspection happening on local trains. And after the inspection, the report was given that, okay, there is a lot of mosquitoes in the last coach. Remove the last coach from the train. So as a policy, we don't actually want this kind of things. We really want effective things, deep-rooted thoughts, so that it really helps people and get the things done actually. Okay, so with that, I want to thank the dignitaries once again and close the session here.
Thank you, Mother. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mona, for moderating such a very exciting and should I say inspiring panel discussion, because we learned that the police shouldn't be at the end of the receiving end of all our anger and aggression, because they are, human working there and they are trying to make a lot of progress as far as working conditions for women are concerned, restrooms and other, the way they are treated by their male colleagues. So I'm sure all of you enjoyed this panel discussion. So should just moving on to the next part of the program, which is the award ceremony. So leading up to the program today, we had conducted several contests for the ISI community to get, to be aware of the upcoming Women's Day program and to also get sensitized about these many issues that women face. After 8 years of marriage, the first time I visited my parents, they asked, "Are you happy? Tell us." An absurd question, and I should have laughed at it. Instead, I cried, and in between sobs, nodded yes. I wanted to tell them that I was happy on Tuesday, I was unhappy on Wednesday. I was happy one day at 8 o'clock, I was most unhappy by 8:15. I wanted to tell them how one day we all ate a watermelon and laughed. I wanted to tell them how I wrecked in bed all night once and struggled hard from hurting myself. That it wasn't easy to be happy in a family of 12. But they were looking at my two sons hopping around like young goats. Their wrinkled hands, beaten faces, and gray eyelashes were all too much, too real. So I swallowed everything and smiled a smile of great content. How often is this the story of the women we know, of every woman in our lives, because of whom we are what we are today? Trying to save marriage, trying to be a good mother, trying to be a good daughter to her parents, trying to be a good daughter-in-law, not trying to hurt anyone, role playing in infinitely many roles every moment of their lives.
So we were just eager to hear such stories from the ISI community. So everyone remembers the kind of sacrifices that women in our lives make and share their stories in whatever way they are comfortable sharing. So ISI had organized several contests. One was a photography contest, The Caged Bird Sings, celebrating women's resistance through lens. A poetry and essay writing contest, Still I Rise, tales of women facing impediments and overcoming them. An art contest, phenomenal women overcoming resistance that women face. And we also invited proposals for formation of a women's empowerment committee that can work throughout the year on improving the situation of women on campus. All of this keeping in mind that they had their midterm exams till the 28th of Feb. And many programs also had it till the 5th of March, and the deadline was 6th March because judges had to be given some time to evaluate the submissions. In spite of that, there were overwhelming number of submissions, and we are very happy. And more than the judging part, the essays brought tears to our eyes often. They were touching, we were moved by them, they were disturbing and poignant, and reminding us exactly of how much the women sacrificed to make us what we are. And the writing entries will be published in Lekhan and ISI's magazine. And may I now request Dr. Satpathy, Dr. Kishore Satpathy from the library, the chief librarian, to please felicitate the judges of the various contests who have spent a lot of time and effort judging the submissions that have come in. The essays and poems, I'm not calling the internal judges on stage, but only the external judges. The essays and poems were judged by Parunesh Goswami, renowned writer, poet, and critic, who has been serving as a judge in the previous years for our Women's Day competition too. Parunesh, we are very glad that you could make it. Please come on stage. And the art contest has been judged by Tatharata Chaudhuri, who is a librarian by profession, but a painter par excellence, an artist par excellence. So may I please call Mr. Tatharata Chaudhuri also on stage. The photography contest was judged by Arup Bose, and I'm requesting Dr. Satpathy to please felicitate the judges. Thank you very much for being part of and participating in this contest, in judging the contest submissions. The photography contest was judged by Audupus and Molay Kundu. Are any of you here? They are both retired faculty members of ISI and photography connoisseurs, of course, but I don't think they are here. Thank you very much for taking time out and coming. May I now request Molay again to please present the certificates to the winners. So this time the art and the photography, the winners are already exhibited outside, but the soft copies of their artwork will also be displayed here. So all of you can see the winning entries. So the first prize in the art contest goes to Kanish Buradia for this poster, but he is from the ISI Delhi Center. We are not on Zoom. With the artist. So many congratulations, Kanish. The second prize goes to, he's not here, so his certificate is here, we'll send it somehow. The second prize goes to Pushpita Pal. Are you here, Pushpita? Okay, so her father tells me that she had stopped working on a project, woke up 2 nights to complete this mandala art, which is her passion. Congratulations, Pushpita. Yeah. So this was the contest was open to ISI members and their family members. So she's the daughter of Pushpendra, who works in the director's office. The third prize goes to, I talked about Hello. So the third prize, or it was specially mentioned, is a canvas. It's an oil on canvas, I think, by Shomok Datta. Is he here? Please come. Thank you very much. Okay, may I now call on stage? Okay. Call on stage, Shumana, please. So, yeah, Shumana is part of the committee. So, Shumana, to please give out the winners for the photography contest. Oh, yeah, yeah. So one more thing, so the submissions for the art contest, we had two very special submissions, one from an 8-year-old and one from a 9-year-old. So we did obviously judge them with the rest, but they will deserve some special mention because they took the time to think about the topic and actually draw something and submit. So this was Ahana Bonnie, who is 8-year-old. Ahana is not here, but her mother is. Shahini, are you here? Please come up. Yes. So Shahini works in the computer center and her daughter has made this. Congratulations to her and for her mother to encourage her to do this. And the other is the 9-year-old Siddhant Satpathy, who again has done this and who is the son of Kishore Satpathy. So please, Mr. Satpathy, Dr. Satpathy, if you can take the certificate. Thank you very much for encouraging your kids to think about this and present in the way they wanted to. Thank you very much. Okay. The winners of the photography contest now. So the other artworks which haven't, so we just had limited funds and we could only give a few top, submissions, some award. But others, I would like to just display. So this was one, this was another kind of plain mandala, this was another, and this was another. So I'm not going into names now, but they were in the art submission. Let me just tell you, the response has been much higher than other years, so we are very glad. But we are just so time constrained because this midterm and this 8 March is kind of fixed day, and the exam sort of got over only on 5th. But in spite of that, there has been so many submissions. So we are really happy that people are thinking about these issues, and the writings were impeccably touching and they really were very good. Okay, so the winners of the photography contest now. The first prize goes to Tonuka De. Are you here? Tonuka is not here. Okay. The second prize is Kirandeep Ghosh. But I think he's not here, but somebody will collect later. His friend. So may I please now request Devarati to please give the certificate to Kirandeep's friend. Congratulations to him. So you can see the photographs which has actually won displayed. Can you see Sonuka's picture also? So this was Sonuka's picture. She's not here, but this has won the first prize. And the second is Kirandeep Ghosh. And the third is Shantanu Machi. Is he here too? Is he not here? Okay, so now he's not here. So now the winners of the writing contest. For poems, the first The first prize goes to Wings of Dream, The Journey of Kalpana Chawla, Aditya Shankar Pal. Are you here? Very well. May I please request Sarvanidhi to please give out the certificates? Please, I mean, all committee members, we are taking turns. Aditya Shankar Pal. Congratulations, sir. Okay, the second prize goes to Srijita Kundu. Are you here? You actually can stay on stage also because you are going to appear in other categories also. Very well written. The poem and the essay and everything. Ballet of Two Parts. That's the name of your poem. And the third prize goes to Tonusri Bera. Yes. Tonusri Bera. Congratulations. Congratulations, Srijita, and congratulations, Tonusri. And the essay is also the first prize goes to Resilience in the Face of Resistance, which is again by Srijita. Which we are actually so time constrained. I mean, by the time the results come in and we have to print the certificate, it's very late. Okay. Still, she rises, a mother's battle for her child's dreams. Prashant Nanavare. Are you here? Extremely well written, Prashant. And then jointly, there are two prizes. Nuri Deepranjan Pal. Are you here? And learning to ask. Aman Das. Are you here? Extremely well written. So, actually, the judging part sort of becomes very secondary because once you read the essays, you are in tears and you don't know, what to do with, ranking them. Just because this has to be given, just to incentivize the submissions that there is some recognition. But all of you, I mean, even if it's not one thing, they were so touching. We were absolutely in tears. At least I was when I read it. Thank you very much. And all of you, please read when they come out in Lekhan, in the next issue of Lekhan, these will be published, the winning entries. And the art of photography we could see, but the writings you can't read now, but you must later on. So there were two, so we also invited proposals for the Women Empowerment Committee, which can work throughout the year on improving the situation of, bringing gender parity on campus. But there were only two proposals, so we are not choosing any winner. So we'll just give certificates for participation. One was, lose connection something. Yeah, one is Women at Workplace, which is from an ISI Delhi person, Khushbu Singh. And the other is Sridhita Kundu again, Accelerate Action. So Sridhita does the participation certificate for you for this, right? With the student. Thank you very much, everyone who gave the certificates and awarded the prizes. And so we now come to the last event of the evening, which is the cultural program. May I request you to just take a 5 minute tea break for, the back of the auditorium while the stage gets set for the cultural. So one announcement, people have received monetary awards for all these content. You need to fill up a form to get the money, for which you need to bring in the original certificate when you come to fill up the form. Please collect the votes. Collect, this is the forms are here, collect the forms here, and you can go back, fill them up, and come and submit, but at that time, bring the certificate. Okay, just a 5 minutes break. Thank you very much. Please do come back. Womanhood, the eternal saga of resistance and resurrection. From the dawn of time, womanhood has been an endless saga of obstacles and hurdles strewn across her dreams, her passions, her hopes and desires. And therefore, it has also been an enduring tale of indomitable resistance, of heroic stoicism, and an undying urge to overcome all insurmountable barriers. Here's an ode through songs, poems, and performances to that undaunted spirit called womanhood, a tribute to the common soul of indefatigable mothers, daughters, lovers, wives, and sisters that manifests itself in their silent sacrifices, in their unshed tears, in their supportive smiles, and their eternal struggle to overcome innumerable barriers along the journey of their lives.
धन्य धन्य नारी जीवन औरों को ही तू अर्पण अपने लिए तो सोचना माँ है कभी तू ओ माँ है कभी माँ है कभी तू बेटी प्रेमिका है कभी बदली बहन से प्रेमिका है कभी बदली बहन से दान जीवन औरों को ही दूर अपने तो सोचना है सारे रूप छोड़ेंगे तो सारे दुनिया भुलाए छिड़के तो केवल मन में समाए जीते भी खोए धन्य धन्य नारी जीवन और भी अर्पण धन्य धन्य नारी जीवन और भी अर्पण अब नहीं सोचे ना ओ प्रिया struggle of a woman begins even before she is born.
1990, a newspaper article reads, 100 baby girls were found buried behind a doctor's house in a neighboring village. The wife wonders, that's where he took her. She imagines her daughter becoming the soil, fertilizing the roots that feed this country. 1998, oceans away in a Toronto basement, a doctor performs an illegal abortion on an Indian woman who already has a daughter. One is fertile enough, she says. Yeah. See the benefits done. Power and do what I want. I'm the one, shining the sun. Make you believe that I'm telling you not, do it or not. Take a high, there was no limit to start from the sky. On the heart, ready to buy. No, it's happening. I'm not sure there is nobody. Pretending not me. The love of my life can shine today. Maybe you want to see how you
So feeling like this on my feet. I've been searching for an answer, one that I think I found. Wishing bucks like every time I fall, I get back up. If I never try, how will I know what I'm made of? There will be a time when the sun will shine. It's like today.
The girl achieves the feat of being born. Life isn't a bed of roses for her. At every turn, she faces innumerable obstacles and has to conform to the set norms of the society.
The weight of my breasts and womb crushed me. I shrunk pitifully. Then I wore short and my brother's trousers, cut my hair short, and ignored my womanliness. Dress in saris, be girl, be wife, they said. Be embroiderer, be cook, be full servants. Fit in, oh, belong, cried the categorizers. Don't sit on walls or peep in through our lace-draped windows. Be Amy or be Kamala or be Madhuri Putti. It is time to choose a name, a role. I met a man, loved him, called him not by any name. He's every man who wants woman, just as I am every woman who seeks love. In him, the hungry haste of rivers, in me, the ocean's tireless waiting. Are you? I ask each and every one. The answer is, it is I. Anywhere and everywhere, I see the one who calls himself I. It is I who drink lonely drinks at 12 midnight in hotels of strange towns. It is I who laugh. It is I who make love and then feel shame. It is I who lie dying with a rattle in my throat. I am sinner. I am saint. I am the beloved and the betrayed. I have no joys which are not yours, no aches which are not yours. I do call myself I.
Enough. Because जन्नत के साए जन्नत में आए हैं अब से किस्मत की डोरी जहाँ बारी वो खोली जी मैं अब से जितना खोल के जाना बाहें खोल के उड़ जाना है पिंजरा तोड़ के उड़ जाना बाहें खोल के उड़ जाना अब मैं चली पिंजरा तोड़ के उड़ जाना बाहें खोल के उड़ जाना है पिंजरा तोड़ के उड़ जाना है बाहें खोल के उड़ जाना
Marriage, she has to pretty much shoulder every household responsibility without appreciation or acknowledgement, of course.
আপনি বলুন মার্কস স্বরাজে বানিয়েছিল কাঁথা বুনেছিল দ্রাবিড় যে মেয়ে এসে গঙ্গনা শুরু করেছিল আর্য পুরুষের খেতে যে লালন করেছিল শিশু সে যদি শ্রমিক নয় শ্রম কাকে বলে আপনি বলুন মার্কস কে শ্রমিক নন
নতুন যন্ত্রে যারা মাস মাইনের কারিগর শুধু তারা শ্রম করে শিল্প যুগ যাকে বস্তি উপহার দিল সেই শ্রমিক গৃহিণী প্রতিদিন জল তোলে ঘর মোছে খাবার বানায় হাড় ভাঙা খাটনির শেষে রাত হলে ছেলেকে পিঠটি দিয়ে বসে বসে কাঁদে সেও কি শ্রমিক নয়
আপনি বলুন মার্কস শ্রম কাকে বলে গৃহশ্রমে মজুরি হয় না বলে মেয়েগুলি শুধু ঘরে বসে বিপ্লবীর ভাত রেখে দেবে আর কমরেড শুধু যার হাতে কাস্তে হাতুড়ি আপনাকে মানায় না এই অবিচার কখনো বিপ্লব হলে পৃথিবীর স্বর্গরাজ্য হবে শ্রেণীহীন রাষ্ট্রহীন আলো পৃথিবীর সেই দেশে
আপনি বলুন মার্কস মেয়েরা কি বিপ্লবের সেবাদাসী হবে মেয়েরা বিপ্লবের সেবাদাসী হবে Alright.
Then one day she becomes the mother, carrying forward the line of humanity in her womb, becomes the undeniable miracle in all of our lives. Ah,
I'm beside her, document her in a home movie, so my eyes can spend the rest of their lives seeing the miracle. The one whose life I never think of before mine. I want to know what she laughed about with friends in the village with houses of mud and brick, surrounded by acres of mustard plant and sugarcane. I want to sit with the teenage version of my mother, ask about her dreams, become her dated brain. The black coal caressing her eyelids. The floor neatly packed into her fingertips. A page in her school books. Even to be a single thread of her cotton dress would be the greatest gift.
her endless sacrifices, especially for raising her children, has been depicted in numerous compositions by poets and writers from all over the world and down the ages.
মা শুনলে ভীষণ সিঁদুরের ডিম লাল পেড়ে শাড়ি কোলে দুধের সন্তান জামিনীর ছবি সে তো তুমি নও কোথায় লুকিয়ে আছো অন্তরালে রক্ত মাংসময়ী মা হওয়া মুখে কথা নয় হাসি মুখে টিকটক সেজে যিনি ঠিক বেছে নেন শিশুযোগ্য হরলিক্স বেবি সফট পণ্য রাশি রাশি বিজ্ঞাপন টিং টং স্বপ্নের বাজার শিশুর আঙুল ধরে মা চলেছে স্কুলে স্কুলে মুখ ধোয়া ছুঁচু করা পেন্সিল কেনা মা চলেছে বাবা শুধু মাঝে মাঝে নিয়ে যায় চিড়িয়াখানা প্রতিটি মায়ের মুখে খুঁজে দেখি জননী তোমাকে হাসি মুখে সব সয় সেই তো জননী হাজার বছর ধরে শুনে শুনে কান পৌঁছে গেল কে বলেছে সব শনিবার গায় শুধুই নয় মাতৃত্ব মহান যদি কুমারী মায়ের গায়ে ঢিল কে মেরেছে ডাস্টবিনে কার শিশু কুকুরের স্নেহে বেঁচে ওঠে মায়ের গা থেকে যত অধিকতা কবিতা কল্পনা পলিস্তেরা খুলে খুলে দেখো তার রক্তে উত্তাল তার বুকে থক থক করে হৃদরোগ প্রণয়ের ভাষা মাতৃসন্তান মনে করে পড়েছে পরশুরামের জঠরে দেবকী তুমি পালনে যশোদা হতে হবে গার্ডিয়ানশিপ তবু এই রাষ্ট্র তোমাকে দিল না মায়ের পেটের মধ্যে দিলে দিলে 9 মাস 9 দিন গুলি বেড়ে উঠে ভুলে যায় তাকে
So waiting to wash me away, but time that is taking me under. Suddenly time with the mind to say, my voice drowned out in the thunder. But I won't cry, and I won't start to crumble. Whenever they try to shut me and put me down, I won't be silent. You can keep me quiet. Won't you trying? All I know is I won't go changes. Cause I'll breathe when the never forget me. Don't you underestimate me? Cause I know that I won't go speechless. The living storm, every bar, centuries old and unbending. Stay in a place where the same and not told, but now that story's ending. Cause I cannot start to grow. So come on and try to back me or shut me down. I won't be silent. You can keep me quiet. Won't you try it? All I know is I won't go speechless, speechless in the darkness. I cannot be broken. No, I won't be unspoken. Cause I know that I won't go speechless. Try to lock me in this cage. I won't just stay and die. I'll take this broken flame and push me forward from the sky. Taking me inside. You're trying. All I know is I won't go speechless, speechless, 'cause I'm free. And I never forget me. Don't you underestimate me? 'Cause I know that I won't go speechless. All I know is I won't go speechless, speechless. Their spirit can't be daunted, their resistance can't be suppressed. They move ahead and bring change in our life under the most trying and difficult situations. They rise and fall and face the vicissitudes of life with a smile on their lips. They are the greatest harbingers of change and hope. They rise like phoenixes from the ashes.
नारी की स्वतंत्रता उसकी चेतना की मुक्ति में है। जब तक वो स्वयं को छाया माने, प्रतिभा, सृजन शक्ति, आत्मविश्वास सब चक्रे रहेंगे। घर की चार दीवारी सिर्फ देह को नहीं, आकांक्षाओं, स्वप्नों, सामर्थ्य को भी बांध देती है। यदि समाज को प्रगतिशील बनना हो, तो नारी को देनी होगी वह स्वतंत्रता जो उसे अपनी पहचान गढ़ने दे। न परंपराओं की श्रृंखला, न रूढ़ियों का बंधन, क्योंकि नारी केवल ममता की मूर्ति नहीं, सृजन की शक्ति है, संकल्प की दृढ़ता है, आत्मबल की प्रतीक है।
Greatest tribute we can pay to all the women in our lives, without whom none of us would have been what we are, is to humbly acknowledge their sacrifices to see us smile. Remember their courage to clear the way for us and to follow in their footsteps, bringing change and hope for all our future generations. तेरा तेरा सर की भलाई में जग की भलाई में सबकी भलाई में जग की भलाई में
With this, we end today's afternoon program. I'm really happy to introduce the really talented team members. So, starting with script poems by Rupi Kaur, Kamala Das, Malika Sengupta, and Mahadevi Verma, and narrative compositions by Rupita Chomanitha. Recitations by Dr. Devaruti Mukherjee, Mr. Khalid Das, Shampana Mitra, Mohammed Shan, and Sahib M, who also played the flute and ukulele. Now, the singers, Mohan Chakraborty, Urjit Bhattacharya, Rohan Chakraborty, Prabhaditya Mojumdar, Sugandhi Basu, Shamariti Mukherjee, Srimoni Bhumi, and Marcus Monari. Dance by Nandita Sen, keyboard Abhuli Ghosh, guitar by Abhishek Kumar Singh, and tabla Mr. Vivekanand Gote.
We conclude the Women's Day program, but nothing is complete without the vote of thanks by the chairperson of the organizing committee. Without her leadership and loving patience with all of us, none of this would have been possible. So, Sharmalini, please over to you for the vote of thanks. Thank you very much, everyone.
Very fine words.
Yes, so as I was saying, thank you, Shomanita, for your very kind words. Who took the leadership? That is the question. But yes, I would like to begin by thanking all the students. They did a wonderful job, and they are really talented. They are harbingers of hope, borrowing the word from you. In a very short time, because they just entered the terms, and so maybe 2 days of practice. Before that, it was all on WhatsApp.
Not even that,
Yeah, very much. And I mean, we hope you will get this forward. And to sum up about today, so Shomanika started on a very nice note, talking about the many faces of gender inequality, the missing women by Amartya Sen, and very humorous words from Yes Minister by Sir Humphrey, who said approximately none, referring to the number of women. So that was a very nice introduction. And thank you to our director, Professor Sanghamitra Bandopadhyay. She talked about change and very hopeful words and saying, I mean, emphasizing that complaining gets us nowhere. So take action and do it now. Our chief guest, Professor Gurmeet Kaur, for coming all the way from Chandigarh. She reached at 1 p.m. in the night because her flight got delayed. But in spite of that, she gave such a wonderful talk. She introduced us to a wide variety of related issues, starting with the quotation which I like very much, that nothing is more firmly written than on stone. She introduced us to geodiversity. Biodiversity is something we knew, but geodiversity was something new to us. About geoheritage, talking about designating stones, We had heard of some stones like Makrana marbles and maybe Jaisalmer limestone, but not Alwar, quartzite, Deccan basalt. And she talked about the need for documenting, which is perhaps something which our geology department may take up. And as Shomika said, whenever now, from now on, we look at a monument, we will always think of what she talked about, think of the tales, the history, and perhaps the promise which is woven into the monuments and the stones that constitute all these, wonderful monuments. I especially liked when she talked about the statue of Oscar Wilde and the different kinds of stones which made up his dress, his shoes. This was really a wonderful exposure for all of us. Thank you very much, madam. The wonderful panel discussion we had, where which was conducted by Molloy. So he said that this was the first time he had conducted such a session. So really hats off to him. And the additional Director General Damayanti Sen, who had to leave, and Madam Anmisha Shapta. It was really a pleasure listening to both of them. And so these were words coming right from the horse's mouth. So two kinds of words which we are not very familiar with, and we come to know of of their slowly coming out of this male-dominated scenario. So we hope this will go on. And they talked about participation being a very important first step, but the other factors which need to follow, like earnings at a parity and so on. So that is more or less what took place. But my thanks again to the director, the deputy director, all workers of the director's office, estate, electrical maintenance, reprography, audio visual, and of course, accounts, because they are the ones who will do the work after this. And Dr. Kunar for making the time to come here, because she has had to manage the medical unit all by herself for the past few days. So she ran back and forth a couple of times. Thank you very much. And all members of the IWB Celebration Committee, Mr. Taposh Basu, he is probably left, Dr. Satpathy for giving unwavering support all the while. Monali, Devaruti, and all other members, some could not be present here. I hope I have not missed anybody out. And some Dr. Shorojit, Professor Shorojit Bose, who was sick and so he could not come. We hope we will be able to continue with this. Oh, and all workers of Panelist. So they gave us a lot of support. Mr. Mani Doctor, who fetched at the very last moment all the flowers and the decorations. So thank you once again. Very good night. And perhaps we will meet again next year. Thank you very much.
আলাদা আলাদা
आपके कौन से होगा? Anybody have?
খুলে দাও কেকটা খুলে দাও আর লাগলে ধোঁয়া শুনবে
Visible.
ওই গিটারে গিটার
নাহলে কিছু Dr. Satpathy, you also come.
I'll take one then I will ask. Hello. Let me take one. Hello.